It's the 11th of November 2021 here in the UK, and I've got a lovely story to share with you, and it starts back in 1940. Are you ready? Let's go. Thanks for joining me on this very special video as we just take a step away from the shop, which is doing fine, lovely and busy, but we step away from the shop and we just slow things down as we take time to remember those individuals who fought, regardless of which war it was in. We just take time to remember them. So I would like to tell you about my granddad. Here he is. This is Antonio, or anglicised to Anthony, or Tony Alasia, my granddad. Doesn't he look good there, eh? So let me share the story of what he did in the Second World War as a desert rat. And here I've got some incredible artefacts of his time there. He did document some of it, and he was a very creative person. I kind of think perhaps that's, well, it is, I don't think, I know, it's where I got a lot of my creativity from. My mum was very much inspired by him for going through the creative approach, and I think that was just through the family. So his creativity had an impact on us all. And because of that, we have some wonderful artefacts to show of his time. So we go back all the way to 1940 when he got the call up in the Second World War for the Desert Rats. It is a souvenir program of a grand concert, and I just love it, by the 42nd Light Armoured Battery Orchestra and Y Troop 42nd Battery Harmonica Band, held on board HMT Viceroy of India, Saturday, December the 7th, 1940 at 2 p.m. Price, threepence. Proceeds to ship's Spitfire Fund, which I've got here. I'll talk to you about that later. At the bottom it says, note, possession of one of these programs entitles you to a sleeping out pass at Freetown. Wow. But when you open it up, it is just magnificent. And well, this is a nice little note. The company wished to acknowledge the loan of the ship from the P&O line. Dresses from the HM the King, ties from RAF boys, and indulgence from the audience. Isn't that wonderful? And there's just some lovely things. But I just want to point out to you, there's Gunner Alasia. That's my granddad, Tony, as Jack Warner. But there are some amazing things going on in here. So what have we got? Gunner Edginton and his ukulele, cleaning windows. That's a good one. When I'm cleaning windows. And obviously, right at the end, you can't not have it. Roll out the barrel. We'll have a barrel of fun. The whole company will join in. Roll out the barrel and wish me luck. Wish me luck as she waved me goodbye. Oh, wonderful. And they were working their way up. Here is an actual badge. 2 of them. In October 1942, the 8th Army fought its most famous battle at Alamein and gained a remarkable victory over the Axis armies of Hitler and Mussolini. And there's a great quote by Churchill where he says, "Before Alamein, we never had a victory. After Alamein, we never had a defeat." Oh. And it's this story I want to focus in on because my granddad was part of it. So he was a gunner. So what would he have to have done? He would have had to have worked on the gun, whether he was doing, I don't know all the ins and outs, but whether he sat on the gun, whether he loaded the gun, they would have had a big team around each gun, and they would have had to have shot Nazi planes out of the sky. And I'll show you this picture here. It's phenomenal, really. Look at that. Can you see the gun in the background? There's the gun. And then the lads in front of it. And he's even written on the back there, Wadi Accurate. So that's up in Tunisia. The lads on one of our gun detachments. Incredible. And they were travelling across, battling from Alamein over to Tunis. What we have here will literally make you just go, oh, wow. This is an artefact or a memoir that my granddad made, summing up his time. And what was he in 1942? He was 27 years of age. And this is what he says. "This memoir, made from remnants of a destroyed German aircraft, shows the 6 major battles in which the 15th Light Anti-Aircraft Regiment played a prominent role during the 8th Army's advance from El Alamein to Tunis. The regiment, as part of the 7th Armoured Division, travelled a distance of 2,500 miles in 196 days, during which time they struck the following blows against the Luftwaffe. Destroyed 51, probables 27, damaged 171. And then he's got his commanding officer to sign it, Thomas Eustace Smith. And he's carved into that with the 6 places that he said, shows the 6 major battles. And there you can see on there, if you look closely, you can see the Wadi Accurate, which is them there. It's incredible. And he's carved into that. He's also then, it's incredible, isn't it? Carved the Desert Rat there. And I know that's hard to look at, but he's taken some of the things, the emblems out of the plane. But this is carved. Can you see where he's carved that out? It is quite phenomenal. And there, yeah. It's just quite remarkable. Cannot even begin to think what that must have been like to have done that journey. So 196 days, 2,500 miles. Phenomenal. And I've got some more things to show you here. So another picture of Wadi Accurate. Columns of prisoners coming in. And this will literally blow you away. Christmas greetings from the Mediterranean. So this is now 1943. So we've had the whole battle of El Alamein going across to Tunis, and we're now working our way up. So the Desert Rats were soon to go up to Italy. Now, as you've probably now thinking, because of his name, Antonio Alasia, he's Italian. He's half Italian. He was given the option to go home and not fight, not to go up to Italy. But Grandad was like, no, this is what it is. I'm fighting for king and country. And he said, I'm doing this. And he carried on. Throughout his time there, he did get sick as well, but he didn't go home. He got malaria 3 times. So he missed some of the action whilst he recovered, but went back and carried on again. Phenomenal, phenomenal. But here we go. 1943, Christmas greetings from the Mediterranean. And look at that. You open that up and there is a pressed flower from the Mediterranean. And so where are we now? 2021. The condition of that is phenomenal. And if I can just read this to you. Sometimes it is hard to smile and keep the chin up all the while. When spirits droop, when footsteps drag and first enthusiasms flag. That is just the time when we should struggle on courageously, remembering not griefs and tears but blessings of the bygone years. May those blessed days of yore speedily return once more, to see us happily side by side, enjoying yearly Christmastide. Every good wish for Christmas and peace in the new year. All my love, Tony. To Mum. 1943. So what is he now? 25, 26, 27, 28 years old. What was I when I was 28? I was teaching and I was, half an hour away from Mum and family. And here he is in the middle of the Mediterranean after fighting successfully in that battle at Alamein, going over to Tunis. And he's sending a Christmas card home. Ugh, phenomenal. Important to remember, hard to talk about, but so important to remember and to never forget. Right, let's just lighten the mood a bit and have a bit of fun with my Grandad looking back, my time with him. Let's do a guess the year, a feature that we have on the usual vlog. Well, let's have a guess the year now. Let's take a look, see if you can guess the year. Such a good posed shot, isn't it? Right, so there's my Grandad and my brother in the background, and Nan's taking the picture, and it was a good fun pose shot. You can see my tall long legs there. What are we thinking? What are you guessing? Late 80s? Mid 80s? Early 90s? Do you know how old I am? Oh dear, it will be fascinating to hear what your guesses are. Start writing them in the comments below. Right, let's have another breakaway and take a look at this. There is another part of his time as a desert rat which I'm thrilled to share with you, and it starts with this Spitfire here, this pin badge. There we are. Let's show you that. Have a look at that. This Spitfire is made out of 1 penny. 1 penny. Look at that. There was obviously lots of time to pass where perhaps they weren't doing anything whilst in North Africa. What would they do? Well, they would, with the tools that they had, they would make that into that. Incredible. I mean, I don't even know where you would begin. So from that to that. Astonishing, isn't it? Yeah, let's pop that back. But this next part is where I just makes me think how clever he was. Well, yes, very clever, and how creative he was. Because this will blow you away. So out of half a crown, he made the P38 Lightning. Look at that! Incredible. Magnificent. It's just... He just went, I think I can do better than that. I can make more than just a plane out of a penny. Let's go up one. Let's do something out of half a crown. Yes, I know. Let's make a P38 Lightning. Can you believe it? There we go. Astonishing. Astonishing man. But that was him. I remember, even up to, well, we'll talk about that shortly. When he was in his 90s, he was still being creative. He was still drawing. He was still painting. He was still making things. One very, very memorable moment was the Easter Sunday, his Easter bonnet. He would pull a cable and yes, out of the top would pop the Easter bunny. So humorous, so clever and so creative. We had some lovely gatherings. As a kid, me and my brother would spend a lot of the time around Nan and Grandad's, and we were very lucky. They had lots of land where we could play in, and we could do all sorts. But the creativity was there from Grandad. He would always be making things, whether he was in his shed turning wood and carving things, or whether he was in his study doing his calligraphy. He was a huge calligraphy writer. I have no idea where he learned it, and I wish I'd learned it whilst he was still alive, and he was able to teach me. Wish I had more time to do that, because every calligrapher has their own style. He would be his work is everywhere. His calligraphy writing is everywhere, because he would write for the Masons. So he'd be doing huge big parchments full of incredible calligraphy with names awarded to whoever, and they would be all around the world. And he would be often in his study till the early hours writing, or he would be in his chair. I remember in the 80s when we would have Christmas or in the holidays over there, he was a big snooker fan, so he would be watching snooker and Pot Black. I remember the theme tune very well. But he was hugely creative, so it's not surprising that he had that 1 penny and thought, you know what, I could do better than that. Let's make something else. Let's make this P38 Lightning. With that double, what do you call that, fuselage, and the nacelle in the middle where the cockpit was, and to get that, you know, the two joining there. I mean, it's you can't bend that. That's proper out of that. And that was a joy to find. Still in this, what, John Sinclair tobacco, ready rubbed. Ugh. That in itself is just magical. Absolutely. But yes, hugely creative and wonderfully talented. So it takes us right up to the gallery. Now, this time in the vlog, we go to the gallery and we usually show off all your wonderful makes, your finished objects, whether they are sewing items, patchwork, dressmaking, knitting, crochet. But because we are remembering, taking time to remember people, and my granddad in particular as a desert rat, I would like to fill the gallery with his finished objects. They are phenomenal. Take time to enjoy what this man created in the gallery. Truly phenomenal work. What did you think of The Laughing Cavalier? I mean, that's a phenomenal copy. But his writing was truly magnificent, all that calligraphy. And I've got many of those pieces framed up in my house. So I remember him every day when I see them. Beautiful, beautiful. Right, I think it's time to give you the answer to Guess the Year. So what did you think? How young did you think I was there? Yes, I was 10. I was born in 76, so that makes the year 1986. How did you get on? Did you get it? Well done if you were right. If not, there's always another time. My love for theatre. My granddad loved theatre. And he would, and Nan would take us to the pantomime. And I think that's where my love for pantomime came from. Very, very early on, from them taking me to the panto. And then my mum would take me to the panto as well, and we would go together. And then I would end up in amateur drama, being in shows, and then directing shows, and then end up being a teacher and putting on pantomimes, and it's just wonderful. And it comes sort of coming to the end of my time remembering him and talking to you about him. But I just want to show you these, really. because we don't often have handwritten letters like this in this day and age of technology, do we? Though saying that, I got a lovely handwritten letter from Fizz from California to say thank you for an order that I delivered to her. She bought some yarn online and I sent it to her, and I just put in a few extra little things as you do, and she then sent me a letter back, a lovely handwritten note saying thank you, and the most wonderful gift. Take a look at this. Look at that. And look at this. That relief work. Beautiful. So this is now Fizz pride of place in the shop on the wall. It looks beautiful, especially just above all the handwritten signs that I had done. So it's wonderful. So it was lovely to get a note from Fizz, but it reminded me really of my granddad's handwritten letters. Where are we? So we're 2003 and 2005. So I'm now a teacher in my mid-20s. 70, is that right? 76, 86, 96, 06, 20, oh no, 29. Is that right? 76, 86, 96, 06. Oh yes, 29. Late 20s. And it's... so let's read it. Dear Stuart, I spotted the enclosed cutting in our local free newspaper. Congratulations, and I'm sure the show will be a success. I think I was doing an amateur show, and 2005. Yes, I was doing Moby Dick, and I was directing it. Your mum tells me that you would very much like to have your own theatre company. And why not? Because the seed is there, and all that is needed is the impetus to make it flower and prosper. The National Lottery has millions to spare every week and does much to sponsor the arts. Keep on with the good work. All the best, Tony. And here's another one. Just can't get over. Look at that stunning script. To be able to write like that, proper pen and ink. Thought I would drop you a line to say how I enjoyed the show on Tuesday. It was an opportunity to employ a lot of young folk, and they all took their parts well. The prompter did not have much to say, as I have noted in past shows, which proves how good the players are. They were called the mere players. We have that a lot here. Don't know whether you have that in wherever you are. Amateur groups, we would be called the players. I think it's from Shakespeare times, the players. So you'd normally have your company name in front. So you could be like the Spotlight Players, the mere players, and so forth. Your musical help and sound effects were, I'm sure, a great asset to the show. Another string to your bow. All the best, Tony. And we as teachers were taught the power of saying well done, or the power of congratulations, the power of praise. That's what it is. The power of praise. And this is my granddad to a T. If you did something well, he would praise you. And that in turn does fire your inside, your soul, doesn't it? Because you want to do well, because you know you get praise. And I remember many times doing well at school and him praising me, or it just, yes, it's just, and that was him. But don't get me wrong, the older he got, if you didn't do well, he would let you know as well. And I remember being at many restaurants and the food not being to standard, and Grandad would complain, but rightly so. If you're paying for something and it's not to scratch, you would do it. But it would be sometimes awkward sitting there and hearing Grandad complain. But you also knew that if you did something incredible, that he would take the time to write that letter. And so these are just Just some little things that I have to remember him, because that writing never ceases to amaze me. When you get a letter from him, look, to have his writing on an envelope, and then his more calligraphy. Look at this. This is his proper parchment paper that he would write on when doing all that wonderful calligraphy to the Masons. Look at that. This is truly his calligraphy at best. So proper calligraphy there, with the light colour and then the dark watercolour underneath, then with the gold leaf. Ah, happy birthday, Stuart. I will treasure that. Phenomenal. So there we have it. I hope you enjoyed that. A little insight to one person out of many, many, many who fought in the Second World War. But my granddad, Tony Alasia, the Desert Rat in the Mediterranean during the Second World War. And look, even behind me, I've got his bunting. This is bunting from, well, one of them said, God Save the King. So there we are. Look, it's just wonderful. So bunting from his time period, as we remember those who fought regardless of time in any war. It's been lovely sharing this story with you. I would love to hear your stories, because you never know, you might have someone who was in the Desert Rats too, and might have been in the same division even. So please let us know in the comments below your stories. I would love to read them. And if you've got a story about someone who has fought in any war, it might even be something recent, I think it would be nice to remember them. And the act of writing about it is it's just a special one too. So for me, making this video, for me, has been a special one. But it will be lovely to read your comments and to see who has done what, and to remember them all together. So please, get writing if you want to share. If not, let's just remember. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.